The Kaleesh warrior and warlord General Grievous developed an incessant hatred for the Jedi upon their attacks on his colonies and the death that they had dealt to his home planet, thus choosing to accept the offer of the Sith to convert him to a cyborg. Trained in lightsaber combat by the legendary duellist Count Dooku, the leader of the Separatist droid army began to strike fear into the Jedi Order from his first battle in the catacombs on Geonosis. The algorithms in his brain allowed him to provide immediate responses to any pattern of lightsaber combat, making him difficult to defeat, except for the most esteemed Jedi Masters, and he established a vast collection of lightsabers from those he had defeated. But the cyborg was ultimately a tool for a bigger plan, and controlled by the Dark Lord of the Sith Darth Sidious, his location at the end of the war on Utapau was revealed to the Jedi, as the Sith had no use for him. Grievous believed that he was fighting for the Separatists, but the war had been engineered so that the victor would only be the Sith, and the cyborg fell at the blast of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, without getting to witness his life's ambition of seeing the Jedi Order crumble. But what if Grievous had been force sensitive? Could he have established his own empire away from the Sith? As you'll find out, the powers of Grievous could have altered the fate of the Separatists. From the planet of Kaleesh, Dooku had just saved Grievous from a life-threatening explosion, and now aboard his ship, the FX series medical droids were trying to keep the warrior alive until he could reach the scientists on Geonosis. The Sith accessed the cryogenic hibernation capsule of Jedi Master Sifo Dyas, and taking a syringe full of blood, the medical droids injected Grievous to keep him alive, but Dooku immediately sensed something amiss in the Force, and the ship soon began shaking as Grievous raised one of his hands and crushed the droids around him with the Force. The blood from the Jedi Master had not been supposed to give midichlorians to the cyborg, but it appeared as if his hatred for the Jedi was harnessing the blood of Sifo Dyas. Dooku continued to cackle until they reached a laboratory on Geonosis, and there he ordered Grievous to not lash out, as the scientists implemented a geranium body and additional implants to create a monster which would soon be feared by all opponents. Dooku decided he would keep the force entity of the cyborg a secret, and keeping him away from the first battle of Geonosis for further experimentation, Dooku discovered that the cyborg had an impressive speed of learning. Grievous soon mastered all 7 forms of lightsaber combat, and gaining a basic grasp of the Force, matching those of younglings of the Jedi Temple, Dooku ordered him to strike fear into the Jedi by destroying one of their medical facilities. Unfortunately for the droid general, the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and his master Obi-Wan Kenobi had intercepted a transmission from the droid general, and Anakin's Shadow Squadron passed through the dangerous Kaleesh Nebula to destroy the ion cannons on his dreadnought and render the hyperdrive useless. Ordering for the droids to repair the ship before the Jedi could make a killing attack, Grievous could sense the Jedi boarding in an emergency airlock and knew they would be splitting their forces. The cyborg ignited his blades in front of Obi-Wan, with the Jedi Master intent on destroying the hyperdrive, but he soon felt the power from Grievous. Before he could reach the cyborg, he found himself being launched backwards into the walls of the ship, then losing consciousness. Following the orders of Dooku, Grievous did not kill the Jedi Master, rather dragged him away, and at the navigational computer's location, Anakin could sense his master in danger. The Jedi Knight cleared a path for Padme, C-3PO and R2-D2 to escape into the twilight, but attempting to reach his master, he saw Grievous dragging Obi-Wan into an escape pod and vanishing into hyperspace. Cutting his way back through the droids that had been abandoned, he found the docking logs that had not been erased in the chaos, and he turned the dreadnought to Geonosis. Anakin wasted no time in alerting the Jedi Council to what had happened to his master, and approaching the planet that was still scarred from their previous encounter, he equipped himself with a spacesuit and leapt onto a Vulture-class droid starfighter to the surface below. The Jedi Knight is quickly supported by Republic fleet led by Plo Koon, and they split up to try to find Obi-Wan, with the Keldor Master going to the droid factories, and Anakin entering the catacombs with Luminar and Julie. The two Jedi hear the sound of the native Geonosians growing louder and louder, until the sound of the buzzing and shrieking became unbearable, and they began to cut them to pieces, until they reached the largest chamber. Obi-Wan was being held in a force-restricting cage, surrounded by Geonosian scientists led by Poggle the Lesser, and just as a medical droid approached Obi-Wan with a large syringe, the Jedi blasted everyone in the room in separate directions, but the force of the attack caused the room to cave in. Above the Jedi, Plo Koon had just found General Grievous, and had managed to contain his initial shock at his opponent's force sensitivity to get the upper hand in their duel, but lunging for a killing strike, the ground beneath them began to shake and they dropped below the droid factory. The Keldor Master could sense the faint presence of the Jedi beneath his feet and ordered the clones to haul the rubble, hoping that they would not have been too late to save them. That is it for part 1 of What If General Grievous was force sensitive. If you'd like to see a part 2 soon, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment about what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.